can just take off with this. And that's what I did with softball. And I think that led into my adult years when I decided to take on building my body.
Hmm. Well, softball has gotten really popular. I think in 2020 it's going to be at the Olympics for the first time.
Oh, okay.
Quite a few ladies have made this. I think even try to make it more professional here in the states, but it takes time because we
Yeah.
know about most women's sports is they have a high following, maybe a handful here and there.
Yeah.
So and you had two brothers, and and you try to. Thing is, you're his girl. He should be like, hey, you're my baby girl. You don't need to be doing that. You can let your brothers do that.
Yes.
They can do
My
that.
dad did not raised me like that. I think my dad raised me to, he kind of wanted me to be not manly, but have a masculine vibe of like taking care of myself, not relying on men. Um, he didn't, my dad would have been happy if I never had a boyfriend or got married or anything. He would have been so thrilled if I just was like, oh, I'm just going to be single my whole life and not even look at a man. So that was an issue growing up. Me and my dad ended up really butting heads because he was not happy with men anywhere in my vicinity. So yeah, he kind of wanted me to be tough. And my mom was very emotional, like I don't want to use the word weak, but my mom was very different from me. And my dad, I know, pushed me to not want to be like that. And I think that's why he was kind of tough on me and kind of made me more into a tomboyish. It wasn't intentional, but that's kind of what happens.
Mhm. Yeah, the relationship with mother and daughter is always going to be different than the relationship to mothers
Yeah,
and
we're
sons.
opposite.
Yeah, because one thing is my mother and father were together 55 years, and my father was living in New Jersey for 30 of it. We was here in North Carolina for the rest of it.
Right.
And we as I remember last time we talked to him was like almost it's been a little over 13 years ago. Just right before he passed, and we made our consolidation as men. We understood each other.
Right.
My mother, as any boy would tell you, our mother is, you have a son, and our mother is our first true love, is our woman. My mother was my woman,
Yeah.
and she took care of me, my brothers and sisters, and she was a
Right.
strong woman. And when she got sick, I stepped up and took care of her because it's only fair. Like I said, I don't have no kids. I got no woman. She was my woman.
Right.
And relationships between children and parents is very important. It's how we grow, how we develop.
Oh
You
yeah.
know, and I know your dad. I don't know. It's kind of come on. You got to think about it. You wouldn't say it about your brother. Say, hey, I don't want
Oh,
you to be around no girls.
right. My brothers had girls. One of his girlfriends lived with him when he like at the house when they were like 17 or something. Like my dad didn't care what about my brothers. It was me. And that ended up being a huge rift in our relationship because when I was 21, I had my boyfriend spend the night, and my boyfriend turned out to be my husband. And he was my first boyfriend, and my dad found out, and my dad kicked me out of the house, and we didn't talk for a long time. And I was 21. I wasn't like a baby. So, but now it's funny because my dad is like one of my biggest supporters, and he didn't like me in bodybuilding at first because he thought in my dad's head he kind of has the old school mentality of a woman's body and think, oh, you're gonna look like a guy, or he kind of. But then when he saw what it did for my life, my dad was like my biggest cheerleader, and he's still my biggest supporter in everything I do.
That's good. All right, now I'm telling you right now, you don't look like nothing like a man. I just,
My
I
dad,
don't, you
he's
know,
so proud of me, and he like shows me off to people, like because where he lives in Mexico, and he shows people at the gym and stuff because his girlfriend is a really like gym rat. So they show me off all the time to people, and the people are like, "Oh my gosh, like how is that achievable?" And like,
yeah.
so yeah, he's my dad thinks I'm beautiful, and he's so supportive. Like, I think I say that because I get a lot of people saying, "Oh, you have dad issues," or your dad, her dad wasn't in her life, or whatever. I'm like, my dad's actually like my biggest supporter.
Because I know I talked to quite a few ladies who have like the family don't understand when you get something because bodybuilding is so extreme. It's not like any typical sport. Like you play softball, your brothers play other sports.
Right.
It's a very extreme sport where you're taking the human body, especially the female body, and change the aspects of it. You're getting
Right.
muscles in places where most people won't think when women have muscles. Now we
Right.
have here a couple of guests here. Give a shout out my man here, Paul Grice. And Paul says, "You
Thank
look beautiful.
you,
Keep up the
Paul.
good work." Also, my man Emmanuel coming through. He says, "Hey, Christine, it's Emmanuel here. Your
Hi.
biggest fan.
Aw,
Hope
thank you.
you're well." I tell you, hey, Hey,
Thank you,
Christine.
Manuel.
Hey, Christine. Yeah, when I get these guys in here, especially get a girl like you, they're like the episode of Chappelle Show. Remember when they were hanging out with Prince and this dude named Mickey Free, thought was a chick, and they said like, "Hey, if Shalmar got a new girl, she's fine as a motherfucker." That's how they're acting when you're here. They're acting like you're hey, George got a new girl, she's fine as a motherfucker. Here we got my man KL the Wanderer. Thank you, brother, for helping me hook me up. He says, "Hey, what's going on? Not much, brother. I appreciate you. He's a great guy. I hadn't met him yet, but we have done quite a few lives together. I remember he did a live interview with you. Was it a
Yes,
while back?
he
You
did.
know,
That's how we met.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It was a pretty good interview. I watched it. So, when did you fully get into bodybuilding? What was the show like, and what was the division you first started in that got you into the sport?
So 2016, my New Year's resolution was to get in the best shape of my life. I was just not happy with my body. Always wanted this dream body of being super toned, but I barely ate anything. I basically starved and was like kind of skinny fat, just did cardio. And I was so tired of putting clothes on and not being happy with what I saw. I wanted to feel super confident. So I was like, you know what? That's it. I'm going to change everything. I'm going to change the way I work out. I'm going to finally eat a lot of food because that's what I've been told. Like, I need to eat more. I'm not eating enough. I'm going to take on the diet, the training. So I got a trainer and she helped me, like, kind of guided me with food. She didn't really do it for me. She kind of forced me into learning it myself, but she guided me on what to research and stuff. But she trained me every day. And she kept saying, you know what, you should compete. I was like, absolutely no way. I'm not getting on a stage. My biggest fear is people looking at my body and critiquing my body. It was not even in my realm. I was like, fuck no. And she kept pushing me. And this is probably about 3 months in. And I was like, I saw my body changing and I was like, maybe I should do something I would never in a million years do and push myself to get over this fear of people judging me. And I did it and I was terrified. Scariest moment ever because I just don't, believe it or not, I don't like people looking at me. I don't like to be I did not at that time. I did not like to be the center of attention. I don't want people looking at my body. I did it. I got third place. I was bikini. And the competitive person inside me, I'm very competitive. I was like, I want first place. I'm going to do this again and I want to do better. And that's how it just got going. And then the next show, I got so ripped for bikini, I ended up getting last place. I was ripped for my second show. My body was like night and day. And that was an 11th month course. And I saw how extreme I got. I got last place. I lost to girls that were actually overweight because they didn't want me, that I was too cut. I should have done figure. And I was like, you know what? Fuck this. Because I was going to quit. I was like, this is bullshit. I looked the best and I got the worst placing. I'm like, you know what? No, I'm going to get bigger and I'm going to go to figure. And I went to figure and then I competed. I got 5th place. I was like, I want first. Competed again. I won the overall. And that was it. Then I was like, now it's time to go pro.
Yeah, that's the thing about the sport. It's the being determined to do this when you get into it and see how your body grows, how you change over time.
Yeah.
Like quite a few ladies start out like a bikini or figure, the divisions that work with, but then because this is a passion sport, you love the growing the muscle and the developing of your body. And and the thing is, it's kind of scary. You got on stage, you're halfway butt naked, you got people looking at you, most definitely looking at you. And also try to critique these certain things about, especially if you look at it like bikini has, like how it has evolved.
My daughter competes in a bikini now, and it's definitely evolved.
Yeah, they got the new division. Excuse me, I just can't. It's called fit model. It just my tongue.
I struggle with it.
I see. This is my mind of it. It's just going to end up becoming what bikini first started off with, and it's going to be ending up what's going to look like now. if you look at divisions like you were doing figure and then now you're doing women's physique. I think last year you competed doing women's bodybuilding, but you get your pro card women's physique.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, how the practices have changed, your training has changed.
Oh,
but always, and people always go to accuse people about the use of steroids or performance enhancers. But the thing is, that's only part of the process. If you don't train, you don't diet, stay consistent, and also follow a regimen, you're not going to like somebody they say like this. Dick, a friend of mine, he's an IFBB pro. He told me this. Said George, they can take the same shit I take, but if they don't follow the plan I got, they're gonna look like shit.
Yeah, I think more people take steroids than what people understand, and most people you would never know. They look terrible, and it's because you have to be precise. And I always tell people it's called performing enhancing. What are you going to enhance if you're not performing? So most people, so many people at your gym probably take steroids and you would never in a million years know it. But it's because they're not doing the diet. They're just eating like shit or not training or not doing the cardio. And everyone thinks it's a magic pill. If it was magic, everybody would do it. Like I take Anavar, it's a pill. If everyone could just take that pill and look the way they wanted to look, they would do it. That's called as Ozempic. Hello. Like no one has a problem with that. Because guess what? You're not outperforming anyone. When you take steroids, you're outperforming people, and people don't like that. But Ozempic, you're just losing weight and getting skinny. And some people get shit for that, but people aren't as threatened by that as they are by muscular people because it's hard work, and people rather put it down than do it themselves.
Yeah, I know my doctor prescribed me Mounjaro, which helps me because I have issue with cholesterol. It's genetic. My family has it.
Right.
Also, I'm a big dude. This story with me, I was almost 500 pounds. That was like about 7 years ago. And because I take my mom, because so much stress taking her and a lot of things, and doing this content helped me my mindset. And when she passed, it was time for me to take care of me. Right now, I'm 416, about 420, because it's been kind of cold, and you get home, you don't want to do anything, you just want to eat and be warm. But yeah, and like again, this lady has a level body. We're gonna put this picture here. I mean, this here, this is something from your last year competition. I mean, wow, yo, and this one here.
I'm still 11 weeks out, and I'm actually not far from that now.
Yeah. And this one here, I want to shout out the title.
That was one of my first photo shoots that I did.
Yeah, I think some six about, I don't know, muscular women in boxing gloves. I don't know. It just, I don't know.
Boxing shoot, to be honest.
Yeah, I think that'd be something to do. I mean, because something about, I do content with women in mixed martial arts and boxing, and their level of training is different from a bodybuilder because they have to train for endurance and performance.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm. So, you won your pro card back in 2024 at the USA. I interviewed a couple of ladies who also won their pro card after that. Where's that feeling for you after many years of competing, finally getting that pro card?
Oh God, I was thrilled. I was so happy because I was told by other pros to quit. I would never get my card if I hadn't gotten it. Like I had dated this pro bodybuilder. He got his pro card his first show. He's a freak of nature in a good way, but he, he told me, just quit. You're not going to get it if you don't have it by now. And I had quite few other people tell me the same thing. So I was like, you know what? I'm not going to listen to one fucking person other than myself, and I'm just going to keep going. So I had gone through so much in those years, with my personal life, that bodybuilding just kept me level-headed and sane and kept me going. And I was determined. I just always said it's not if, it's when. If I didn't have it right now, I would still be trying to get it. So it was just a matter of time. So I was elated though. I was like, finally. And I knew I had a disadvantage. My legs have always been smaller. I was born with sticks, and I refused a lot of the gear that I had been, told to take, because being feminine to me is actually more important than being muscular. So I'm not saying that that's how everyone gets super muscular, but I'm saying in someone in my position, when you have a weakness, that's when you take those specific things to help with those weaknesses. And I refuse those things. I'm like, I'm just going to do it the longer way, and it's probably not going to come out the same, but I still did it. I did it. I got it done. So I was so happy. I've kept my boundaries, and I got my pro card, and I survived life throughout it, and it became better and better. My kids are amazing, and that was the most important part to me, is my kids, over everything.
How old are your babies?
My daughter is 20 and she competes too. We're competing actually together in April. My son is 16 and he's getting into bodybuilding now. So I wouldn't be surprised if you see my son competing in a couple of years. And then my little one is 13 and she doesn't have an ounce of interest in it. She's a baker. She has a baking business at her age. It's so cute. And then she's in theater. She loves acting. So.
Well, the baking business she got from your mama, because you're the hustler.
She's a hustler. She's already made a lot of money, and she's only 13, and she came up with this herself. She started a baking business. She wraps up cookies and ships them off, and she's amazing. She's a great baker. So she is a hustler like me, that's for sure.
I learned some of my skills. My mom too. My mom was a hustler, and we had to learn how to work.
Oh.
I was working farm and stuff when I was coming. We were sharecroppers. We worked farms and here and like that. And I had my first job when I was 16. I was holding 2 jobs. One point when I was much younger, I was working at a gas station. I was working at a textile plant. I even had a job working at a gentleman's club.
Hey,
Yeah.
You got to do what you got to do, and if you're making money, it's like, I don't see the issue if you're happy with what you're doing. And I've always been happy with what I've done. And I've always hustled. My dad made me get a job when I was 15, and I always worked my whole life in one way or another. Even when I was a stay-at-home mom, I had a business in my house. So I always did something.
Mm-hmm. The thing is that you got to, especially in this world now, if you don't work, you don't eat. You have responsibilities, especially to yourself and also to your children. Here we got my man Manuel. He has a comment. He says, question for you, Kristina. Is bodybuilding a sport, art form, and lifestyle wrapped in one, or does it separate between each of those components?
I look at it probably the most as an art that I have taken on, that I work on daily. So it is kind of like my art, but it also 100% is my lifestyle. I don't know another way to live. This is how I live. Like I can't imagine not ever living this way. Even if I'm not competing, I think I'll always have the diet, healthy lifestyle, always work out. So to me, it's 100. I've learned a huge balance with bodybuilding, which I think is the key to bodybuilding, because I have children. I've never made my children suffer because of, if we want to travel, we travel. If they want to go to certain restaurants, we go. I've learned how to totally live a normal life as a bodybuilder. I think people think you're a bodybuilder, and you're so wound up and you're so, yeah, I am strict, but I've never felt like I'm missing out on anything. I don't feel deprived. I don't feel tired. Like I feel great. I love it. And I've learned how to literally make a lifestyle out of it where it doesn't affect me negatively ever. I love it.
It is a lifestyle change. You're changing your way you're living, your dieting, your habits. It's something different, but it's still seen as the outside person as extreme as a sport, especially when it comes to women. Like I said, you want to maintain your femininity. Where some women I've seen in the sport, sometimes it's hard because they want to make those goals. They want to get that size. They want to get that muscle.
Exactly. That's preference. And I don't judge anyone that does that. It's just that wasn't my boundary. So everyone has their boundaries. And I kept mine. But I don't judge anyone that takes whatever they want or does whatever they want. If they're happy, that's amazing. I think it's great.
All right. We have a comment from my man K. Wonder. He says this. He says, what's an advice you could give to someone who has problems with their diet and wants to work on their situation, but can't afford a coach?
So, I mean, there's so much information out there on social media and Google, where I think it's actually easier than what people think. I can literally just say, listen, this is a list of proteins that you should just have all the time, a list of carbs. I mean, you can literally Google what is clean and focus on those foods and avoid fast food 100%. I think that is like the huge thing. Full soda, stuff like that people are still consuming are the easy things to cut out and to get on the road to being a lot healthier. So, I mean, I think a lot of it is common sense. Say like vegetables, yeah, you don't want to eat them, but let's face it, that is healthier. Like stuff like that, chicken, shrimp, fish, healthy, healthy, healthy. You can't really overly consume those unless you're like gorging on them. I mean, it's healthy for you. So it's like you just have to be smart about the portion sizes. Get a food scale. That is a game changer. I think people think that's anal, but when you actually see how much you're eating versus you guessing, I remember I was shocked when I first got one. I was like, I am eating way more than I was supposed to of my salmon. I was like, quadruple the portion. So you learn the size, and then you don't need the scale because you kind of have it. So, but I don't think anyone needs a coach if they're just like trying to live a life. Just Google, go on Instagram, find influencers that they focus on that, and they'll teach you what to make.
Oh, yeah, also be smart about it.
Yeah,
Like some people they don't do like micros and count like that. They just measure
yeah,
when you buy food, you know the weight of it, and you already get the weight
yeah.
of it, so you know
I've
what you
never
got.
done macros. Like not since
Yeah,
I first started. It's not necessary. It's just common
yeah.
sense, like you said.
My man Big Keith said that same thing. Big Keith, we have shout to my big brother Big Keith. He says also this is from my man KL. He says, Christine, if you could, would you have done natural bodybuilding?
Well, I mean, technically, I was natural for years. Um, and then when I think I just wanted to see what my body was capable of, and I had a coach that was like, "Oh, you should go on Anavar," and I kind of trusted him, and just to see how I could manipulate my body even more extreme. I was into that at that time. That was I wanted to try it, and I was not closed off to it. So I took on Anavar, and I've pretty much stuck to Anavar all these years, and I'm just really smart about it. Like you can't just stay on it and think you're gonna be. That's great. I cycle it. I'll go like almost a year without taking anything. So I don't regret it, or I don't wish I could change it. But I am going to go back to being natural. It's just I don't know if people can say you're a natty once you've already done it. I don't know how that works. I don't really care, but probably in the next year, I will not take any gear. I'm going to be
Yeah.
done.
I know recently, IFB Pro former Salva Mati, she started competing in Natural League. And also IFBB and EPC are trying to do more natural shows. I think there's a bunch of them on the schedule this year. And
Okay.
natural, I think takes a lot more time compared to enhanced because you don't have that, you use the steroids or use the pads or use whatever for recovery. When you're not using it, it takes you more time to recover. It takes you longer time upon the size. You already get the muscle, but it's going to change your look probably drastically because
Yeah,
you're
I
not taking
think
that
the
stuff.
look definitely changes. I think you're probably not as uh like fiberish, and tight. I think you can still achieve an extreme physique naturally. I think people are so closed off to that it's like impossible. That's not true. I looked insane my first year and I was natural, and people accuse me of gear all the time. I'm like, nope. If you looked at my biceps, I had big biceps early on, and I did not take one thing, nothing. I didn't even take pre-workout, nothing. So it's achievable. It's just, yeah, you might not keep as much size or get as tight looking and grainy, but I think you can still look insane and great.
Well,
The-
I've seen some natural competitors that look just as great, but not as big because they a
Right.
little more leaner. Because I
Yeah.
remember I was watching nationals last month. There was a young lady, her name is Natalie Hayes. She was doing women's physique and women's bodybuilding, and she's very lean, very very well put together. I think she would be better off doing figure. She probably could have got a pro card a lot faster. But
Okay.
it's up to whatever division that
Yeah.
that competitor fits. So, folks, while we got the lovely Mrs. Parks here, what we're going to do is we'll jump to social media for a little bit.
Okay.
If you want to follow her, her links in the description of this live. You want to check her out, you want to support her. But it's no offense to you, Tina. I'm just saying this because it's a precursor before we get into saying, guys, be respectful. No D pics. None of that. Stop it. I know she's beautiful. She's out there, got her titties out, trying not to look hard. But guys, she got kids. I'm almost different. I think she got a man because we don't want no trouble with him. Be respectful. Reach out with genuine interest and support. But I know you guys out there, you get a little excited about it, yeah. But be calm, guys. Be cool. So we're gonna jump into her social media for a little bit. The link's in the description of this live. You want to check out, you want to support her. So here she is, and we got here some pictures. She puts a lot of stuff, guys. Wow, I mean, whoa, I mean, whoa, it's just like.
I'm actually going to read that reel very soon because it's very popular.
Yeah, I mean, you look pretty good. What do you feel like? I know your name Trap Queen was because your traps. Is that that's your best asset?
I'm dying because the comments on there just crack me up sometimes. So Trap Queen, it actually had nothing to do with my traps. When I picked that name, I had never even flexed my traps once. What it was is I was really into trap music at that time. And I had to pick a name. And I was like, well, I love trap music and trapezoid. It's a play on words. I was like, you know what? What the hell? Trap Queen. That just sounds up my alley. And so I ran with it, but I didn't even know I had huge traps. Never flexed them once, never even acknowledged them. I mean, this is years. This was in 2018 when I picked that name. So, and that wasn't for Instagram. That was I was working with a company and I had to come up with a name for that company. And I said, oh, you know what? I'm going to say Noah Trap Queen because I love the name Noah. So that was like my stage name at that time. And then when I finally decided to get social media, was in 2021. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to carry it over and use my real name, say Tina Trap Queen, and let's see how this goes. And that's how it happened. And then by then I realized, holy shit, I do have big traps. I mean, so it just makes sense,
Well, I mean, man, this is right here, this pose right here. Wow, you're great development around the shoulders. Well, you actually asked you because I think you did Toronto. What was the critique for the judges? Did you get the critique from them?
It was better definition in my abs and my quads, which I knew my quads. Like my quads are my struggle point. People like you need to train your legs more. I'm like, if you only knew, I train my quads the most. And it's just one of those areas. Everyone's genetically blessed in some sort of area in their life. The quads, I love my legs. I have loved them since I was a kid. I've always had long, nice legs. But for bodybuilding, my legs, that's my weakness. It's just because they were just born. I have sticks, but I've grown them tremendously from considering what, people think that I haven't, but if you look at my before picture, my legs have grown immensely.
Mm-hmm. Have you ever thought about, now that you're in the Ivy Pro, especially how the way the vision's looking, you think about going back to figure, or you feel like you've recovered in physique?
Oh God, no, never. I never really loved figure. I hate the posing and I hated the heels. So I competed in Pittsburgh in 2022, I think, or 23. I think it was 2023. And I remember looking backstage at the girls when I did figure still, and I saw the physique girls with no heels, and I was like, you know what? Fuck figure. I'm going to. I don't want to wear heels anymore.
I have heard plenty of stories of ladies who got tired of them because one lady told me one time she had to take a blow dryer and try to loosen up the straps and kick out the cloth hopper because you feel more free. Here she is, and this is a little thing she posted I think a few days ago.
Hater, but I do have this tiny little list of people that I do actually hate, so I'm going to give them to you. Number one, if I hold a door open for you and you don't say thank you, I hate you. Number two, if I am driving and I stop and I let you in to, I literally stop traffic and I let you in, and you don't give me a little wave, I hate you. If I see you, or even if I don't see you, leave a shopping cart out and don't put it away, there's a special place in hell for you. If you're on a plane and it lands and you clap, you can just fuck off. If we're on a plane and you get up the second it lands and you bolt in front of everyone, maybe you have a flight that you're waiting for. Just kind of say that, but most of you don't. If you just get up and you put your fucking ass in my face, or you hit me with your bag and you gotta get in front of everyone, there's another special place in hell for you. You're gonna be with the shopping cart people, and you actually might. Well, no, you both fucking suck. If you had a dream and you want to tell me about it, please fuck off. It's not real. Now, if you have dreams in life, please do so. But if you have a dream, you fell asleep and you wake up and you want to sit there and tell me the dream that you remembered, I don't give a fuck. It's not real. If you wear your dog on your back, fuck off.
This is my I left this is the gift. This is my Silky Johnson Playhead of the Year. I hate you. I hate you. I don't know about you. I hate all things you do. That is a Dave Chappelle classic because that's one of my other monikers. Silky Johnson. Yeah. And I mean, I don't know. I'm planning on going to a show in a few months. I'm going to be on a plane. I know I'm going to be clapping if I land because my country has never been on a plane in my life. Ma'am, I'm a Southern gentleman. I open door for a lady, and I appreciate when you say
thank you. I open doors. If I get to the door first, I'm going to open it. And if people don't say thank you, I'm like, oh, you're welcome. Even though they don't say it, I'm like, you're welcome. Like, I get so irritated. I'm very big on manners. Like, I ram manners into my children's heads. And if they did that to people, I would slap them, like, upside the head. Like, manners are a dying thing. So I was just saying, the shopping cart thing, that really pisses me off.
Yeah, I grew up, my mother had told us to be like, say, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, yes, sir, no, sir. Be polite, But at the same time, like the quote from one of my classic movies, The Roadhouse, there's a time to be nice and a time not to be nice. Dalton, I thought you were bigger. We have here some comments here from my man, Emmanuel says, another question for you, Christine. Does it take women a lot longer or the average than men to build muscle? Is that due to estrogen taking longer to handle muscle building than testosterone?
It does take women longer. It's actually way more difficult for us. I've never taken testosterone. That's what a lot of women end up taking because that does help tremendously. Like, men have a huge advantage because of testosterone. But that just, at the same time, I always hear women say, like, oh, I don't want to get bulky. Like, I don't want to get big. I'm like, it is so almost impossible unless you intentionally do it the way I did, which is you have to eat so much. When I bulk, I eat so much food. And I train heavy. I train like a man. So, it is harder, but it's not obviously impossible. And I am genetically blessed when it comes to my upper body. Like, I have my dad's genes, thank goodness. But it is harder for women for sure. And estrogen and testosterone.
But anyway, man, you say you train like a man. Nah, I'm a man. Even though I got moves like some women, but we different. It's just different of how the body goes. Like women, you do have more testosterone. You are the ones who carry our children. You are the ones who take care of home. Men, our purpose in life is to quote Conan, to crush your enemies, seem duty for you, and hear the lamentation of the women. We are built to battle, breed, and to die. That's about it. We have here a comment from man. Shout out to McKay. He says, it seems like it's unpredictable for someone who's been competing to get a pro card. Well, I've seen quite a few competitors take a long time before they get it. Also, he likes to ask, like, how long do you see yourself competing?
I don't know. I have no idea. And I'm going to say into my 50s, probably. Like, I can't imagine not doing it, but I'm sure there's going to be a time where I'm like, okay, I'm done traveling so much. And, maybe I just want to focus on traveling, but not with like competing, because my kids are going to be older once they're out of the house. I'm going to probably take on traveling a lot more, but I don't know if it'll be for competitions. It'll just be like, go have fun and enjoy my life. And so, but I'll still have a balance. I'll still work out. I'm going to say probably in my late 50s. But so I'd say at least another 5 to 10 years.
Because Masters is getting very popular. Next year's going to be a Masters Olympia, and you mentioned that you are planning on competing, and you said April. So
Yeah.
you want to share the show, or you want to keep it under your sleeve?
I kind of make it obvious. I think I try not to announce it because I'm always scared who's going to show up because people have shown. But it's kind of obvious because me and my daughter are competing together. I'm 11 weeks out. It's the Emerald Cup, and it's for Masters. I'm trying to get to Masters Olympia this year.
Well, I hope you best wishes on that. But again, as long as it's not a show you have to compete with Natalia Coelho. She does 13 shows. You're already right now. And you know what? As I said of this, I'm not a big fan of her, but I respect what she's doing. She even has commented in my live streams. She come in live there now. And also she did this just early this month. Last month, where she's announced that she's helping bring women's bodybuilding to the show in Brazil that she helps promote. But
Well,
shout out to her. I mean, there's been the stuff going on between her and the former champ. What's your thoughts on that?
I mean, there's if there's no rule against it, I don't see how it's cheating. I wouldn't personally do it. I don't like it. I mean, I think it is kind of shitty if she did it, but at the same time, I wouldn't be hating on her. Like, I think the feud is it's a little much. I mean,
Childish, huh?
yeah, I don't like drama. I don't like negativity. I would just take the loss and be like, okay, well, I'm not going to do that. So I'm fine with losing because I'm not going to do something like that, but not put someone down consistently and call them out and stuff. It's like she obviously works extremely hard and she looks amazing, and there's no rule against it. So she could have done it too. She just like I can do testosterone and be bigger if I want to, but I don't want to take testosterone. I could do it though too, and probably beat more girls if I did it, but I'm not going to. So it's kind of a similar thing. It's like we all can do the same things. It's just you have to pick and choose how far you want to go. She went there. I mean, at least I think she went there. That's what it sounds like. But I mean, I wouldn't do it, but teach their own. Once again, I don't judge people that want to do what they want to do.
It's like any sport. Every athlete tries to find the thing to hit that next level.
Yeah.
Either I think this weekend's the Super Bowl coming up.
Yeah.
We got those guys. They have to do and practice and train. And then yes, one thing steroids there was very prevalent in football and other sports, but because that sport is a little bit more mainstream, it gets the blind eye compared to bodybuilding.
Right.
We have here a comment from my man KL. He says, "What kind of cookies your daughter bake?"
She has a whole menu. It's like she has this Kentucky butter, sea salt chocolate chip, red velvet, birthday cake, Cookie Monster, pink sugar. She has quite a few.
You're tempting me. I'm pre-diabetic. That's tempting me.
Well, and she's a good little baker too. She's great. I bake really well. She's probably even better than me now.
Well, you know what? She learned from mama. Sometimes it's like the next generation always gets better depending on how they grew up, how they raised. We have here a comment. This is from Timber Splash. He says, this is my first time catching a live show on the channel. Pretty cool. Appreciate that, brother. Also, he says this. He says, that's my problem. I will admit it. I got to lay off the fast food and junk food. I know how you feel because today I had to go do a little shopping. It's first of the month, we do a little shopping. I got my stuff, and then it was about lunchtime, and I went by Burger King, got myself the new steak burger with the mushrooms and the onion rings and the cheese, and as again, I'm a fat man. I'm trying to be smart with my diet, but I'm not a bodybuilder. Temptation, like Miss Tina, I have a particular thing. Like, let me ask you, Miss Tina, what's that thing, especially after your last show? That thing that was calling you because that thing that would make you stranger, but it make you stronger. What was that? Share with me.
What thing?
like what's your favorite food? Like, especially I'm prepped. Sometimes you get a little. Your coach might give you a little cheat meal and a little
Um,
refeed.
so after my show, it's donuts, cheeseburger, usually with bacon on it, and cheese fries. But my cravings have really subsided over the years. Sugar is probably my biggest weakness. I actually, even through prep, I'll have a couple peanut M&Ms every day. That's like my thing. But like in my mind, I say no bite is worth the feeling I have when I feel and look at myself. Like I love my body so much that supersedes bites of things, you know? Like I get pleasure not out of eating, I get pleasure out of looking and feeling my body. So it's a trade off.
Yeah, food is both a tool and weapon for a bodybuilder. The right foods, like I said, not too much processed stuff, but it's nice every now and then to have a nice little burger. I mean,
Yeah,
I love sweets too.
100%. I love burgers. I love pizza. That's the thing. How I said I've learned to balance. I just had pizza recently. I have burgers pretty often. Fries. I just had fries the other day. Like I'm not depriving myself whatsoever. I just pick and choose, and I've learned the balance of it, not the daily thing. And I think people, if they stopped rewarding themselves with food regularly and looked at it as a one-time thing here every week or 2 times a week, it'd be more enjoyable actually, and they'd feel better about themselves long term. So, but that's people want instant gratification constantly. Yeah.
Like food's just as good as well. Like for me, it's been a long time since I touched a lady, but food's kind of like a replacement for sex because it's the taste of the pleasure of it. I love sweets too. One of my favorites is there's this place, it's a Chinese restaurant that's like the next town over. They do a buffet. I hadn't been there about a month. I went there, because I had a doctor's appointment one day, and what I want to treat myself. It was nice, something different, something
Right.
because it's just the taste, the sugar, the sweet, the salt, whatever thing. It's just a
That's
thing about yeah, it can be euphoria once you eat it. Here we got a comment here from Man Made Well says another question for Christina. He says, would you ever start a coaching business where you help people get into shape? Do you think you have the confidence to do that? You seen experience enough to do that? So, if you have been interested in being a coach, because there's quite a few bodybuilders get into the coaching aspect of the sport.
Well, what's funny is I kind of went the opposite direction. When I first started, I was coaching very quickly because I was kind of self-taught. I taught myself a lot about macros, about the food, about carb cycling. I did a lot of research and I basically made it my thing. And what happened was I got into such extreme shape within the first year. Like, I mean, my body was, I think you showed a picture of one of my first shows. It was in a purple bikini. I think you showed it at one point.
Yeah.
That was my body the first year of training. And that was pretty extreme. Some people started reaching out to me asking me for help, and I was like, listen, I don't coach, but I mean, I can try to help you if you want. And I charged because I'm like, it's my time, because she's like, I really, really want you to help me. I coached her and she ended up winning her very first show that I coached her with. And then it took off. A whole bunch of people started asking me, and I started coaching a lot of women in bikini. I was really great at it at first. It's just something I was good at. But then I got a little overwhelmed with trying to do that because I'm a very hands-on person. And this is actually why I don't do online training. I will not do something very cookie cutter. I'm very one-on-one. I like to make sure I give people my time and energy, not just like, here you go, here's a diet, here's training, good luck. Because that's a lot of coaching. They're not really in tune with you, and that's the only way I would do it. And I need more time to do that. So that's why I don't do it, is because I won't just throw something at people.